Hi folks, welcome back to MetaBox Tutorials. Today, let's display opening hours for restaurants using MetaBox and Bricks. I have a website for booking tables from several restaurants. On the single page of a restaurant, we can add a section that displays the daily opening time of them. This information can help your customers be more proactive in managing schedules and bookings. The restaurant is a post of a custom post type with detailed information like this. And all the information related to the opening time of the restaurant will be saved in custom fields created with MetaBox. Before going ahead, let's check some tools we need in this practice. The restaurant can have the same or different opening hours each day. Therefore, besides the custom fields to store timing information, we need to set the rule for displaying the fields. So, first, we need the MetaBox Core plugin to have the framework for creating the custom post type and custom fields. You can download it directly from WordPress.org. Besides, you may want to have some advanced features from MetaBox extensions. You can download them individually, or just use the MetaBox all-in-one to have them all. Here they are. MB Custom Post Type to create custom post types for restaurants. MetaBox Builder to have UI in the backend to create the custom fields visually. MetaBox Conditional Logic to create the rules for displaying the fields. MetaBox Group to organize custom fields into the groups for clearer structure. And the last one, Bricks to build the opening hour section. Let's start now. Go to MetaBox and create a new post type for the restaurants. After publishing, a new menu will appear right here. It's your post type. In this step, we will create the custom fields to save the opening hours information, then define when they display as well. I will create custom fields following this structure. It looks quite complicated, but I'll explain the logic and how they work in detail right now. To save time and effort when inputting data, I use a select field to set 3 options. Corresponding to each option, we have different fields show up. If the restaurant has the same opening hours on all days, only this field will be displayed. It also includes 4 options to choose from. For the first 3 options, just choose one. But if you want to set the exact time in numbers for opening time, choose the last one. Then enter time slots. The restaurant can have multiple time slots, so I have this button here to add more than one. If there is a difference in the opening hours between weekdays and weekends, choose this option. Then these groups will be shown up. One is for weekdays, and one is for weekends. As you can see, the options in each field here are similar to the option, all days are the same. Even with the fields to add time slots, the structure and logic are the same as well. In the case that the restaurant has different opening hours on every day in the week, you can choose the custom option. Immediately, we have fields for each day like this. Each one of them also has the same options and subfields as the previous cases. Now, let's create all these fields and see how to set the rule using MetaBox Group and MetaBox Conditional Logic. Go to MetaBox, Custom Fields, and create a new field group. As I mentioned, I'll add the select field for the first one. Fill in the options in the choices box. As you can see, corresponding to each option, we have a value for it here. They will be used to set the rules for the upcoming fields. The next field is for the option that is, all days that have the same opening hours. It's a group, and displays only when you choose the first option in the above field. So, add a group. Then, move to the Advanced tab to set the rule for displaying. You will see the Conditional Logic section. It's available when you have the MetaBox Conditional Logic extension activated. We'll set the rule to display the group here. MetaBox provides some kinds of options and operations to set the rule, as well as suggestion values. Then you can set the rule straightly. Since this group displays only when users set the select field above with the first option, we should set the key of the rule as the ID of the select field. Then, the value should be the value of the first option. You might see the rule clearly. Now, back to the General tab of this group to add subfields. The first one is the select field as well. Also fill in the options. The second subfield is for the time slots with start time and close time. I put them as a pair in a group. This group also is displayed following a rule. Only when you choose the type of opening hours as the last option in this field, this group will display. In the Advanced tab, we have this ID for the type of opening hours field. And this is the value of the Enter Hours option. Since we allow users to add more than one time slot, this group should be set to be clonable. Inside this subgroup, add two subfields for the start time and end time. That's done for the case of the same opening hours for all days. Next, in the case that the opening time on the weekdays and weekends are different, the fields are almost the same. So, I'll duplicate this one to save time. Change the label and ID of each field. Then, don't forget to reset the rules by changing the value in the Conditional Logic section. The key of the rule still is the first select field, since the rule is based on it. But the value should be changed to the second option. As well as, the ID of each subfield inside this group also needs to be changed. This group includes a rule, so move to the Advanced tab to modify it. The ID of the field that the rule is based on is changed, so we should reset it to the right one. Also in this second case, we should have another group to set the opening time for the weekend. So duplicate this group. Redo the actions to change the ID, name, and rule in each field inside to get the right logic. Next, the third case. If the opening hours on every day of the week are different, we'll have a group for each day. Clone this group to reuse it. Change its name and ID inside to use for the opening time on Monday. For the remaining days of the week, just duplicate this group and do likewise. After having all the fields with reasonable settings, move to the Settings tab, set the location as post type, and select Restaurant to apply these fields to it. Now, we can add time slots to the fields for each restaurant. If the conditions weren't wrong, all the fields will display in the right way. If not, you should go back to the field settings to check the conditions carefully. Go to edit the template that we use for the single page. Since Bricks supports conditions to display or hide elements based on dynamic data, we will create some elements following the options we have in the fields. Then, use the conditions for them. Let's see in detail now. I made this template before, so the preview was set already. I also have a block on the right column as well. It'll be used for the opening hours section. First, add a new heading for the section. Now, it's the main part of this tutorial. I'm adding a new block. This block will be used to display the timing information in the case that the restaurant opens at the same time every day. I renamed it for better management. Next, we should add a condition for this block. Click on this button. It's for conditions as its name says. As I said, this block displays the timing information in the case the restaurant opens at the same time every day. So, this block displays only when the first option in the select field is chosen. It's a kind of dynamic data from custom fields, so set the condition as dynamic data. Next, choose the name of the field that the condition is based on. I added this attribute to regulate that the value of the field will be used to compare. Bricks provides some operations. Just choose one that makes sense. And the last one. Paste the value of the first option that we had for the select field. The whole of this condition means that the block displays only when this field is set as the first option. Now, let's add some elements to display the timing information. This element is just to name the days. Next, add a div element. I'll enable the query loop for this div to get data from this group. There are also some options in the subfields of this group that lead to some different cases. Thus, we need to use the condition once again. For the first three options, only the value of this field will be displayed in all three cases. So I will add only one element for them. Add dynamic data from this field to this element. Then, add a condition in the kind of dynamic data for it as well. The condition will be based on the value saved in this field. I set the operation like this, and set the value as the last option in the field. It means that this element will display whenever the last option is not chosen. Otherwise, in the case that the last option is chosen, I have another div element to display the right information. I use this element to set a condition to display the time slots, since they are displayed only when the last option is chosen. The condition is quite the same with the previous element for the first three options. But I changed the operation to this one. Now, inside the div, Add another div element to set the query, since the values we want to get now are in a clonable group. I add two new basic text elements. One will be used for start time, and one for the end time. We use dynamic data for them all to get data from custom fields like this. Since we have some different start time and end time fields in different groups, just make sure you choose the right ones. Before going ahead, let's go to the front end to check how the data displays. This is when we choose these options. If I change the timing information to multiple slots, then they will display like this. So, the data displaying well follows the rule that I set. For a better look of the section, you can style each element a little bit. This is how the section looks now. However, it's not the end. We've just displayed data when the first option in this field is chosen. So what happens when one of the rest is chosen? We haven't set anything to display data in those cases. Let's move on for them now. For the second case that there are different opening times between weekdays and weekends, instead of adding new elements to display data, I'll duplicate this one. It helps saving time a lot since the logic to display information is exactly the same. This one will be used to display the timing information of the weekdays. Then the condition should be changed to the second option. It means that this weekdays section displays only when the second option in the field is chosen. Once this section is displayed, all the following data will be displayed. Firstly, name this for weekdays. Secondly, the timing information is not in the previous group. We should change to this one. That is used for the weekdays. Next, this one is to display one of three options here. So, just change the field to the one that the options come from. That's the content for the element only. We also should change the condition to display or hide this element as well. This one is to display data when there are multiple time slots. So, also change the field in the condition. And, the last one, change the group of fields that this element query from. And change the field that these elements get from. For displaying opening time on weekends, also duplicate this element. This section also displays when the second option in this field is chosen. It's the same with the weekdays. So there is no need to change the condition of this element. But for the remaining elements, we also need to change the names and fields to the corresponding ones. Just look for the right fields from the one related to the weekend option, both in condition or displaying content. When you go to the single page on front end, the data will display correspondingly with the one in the fields. What's next? It's a custom that there are different opening times for every day in a week. Actually, it's quite the same with the second case. Instead of dividing days into two kinds as weekdays and weekends, now we will have 7 days from Mon to Sun. So just duplicate this element. Also change the name, field ID, option in the condition, as well as the field where we display data. Then, we'll get the expected result. I style the page a little bit. It's how they look on the page. So, from now on, whenever the timing information changes in the backend, this template will also change the data displayed on the page as well. Everything will be automatically thanks to the displaying conditions supported by Bricks. That's all for the tutorial today. What do you think about it? All comments and questions are always listened to. If you want to dig into more interesting topics, please watch other tutorials on this channel. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to us for more tutorials. Bye.